G'day there, guys. It's Becky K here again. This week I'm going to be running you through a hot lap track guide around Laguna Seca for round 6 of the GT Club Fast Friday Season 2 Championship in the Radicals. All right, so bit of a complex track. Got a few high-speed straights, multiple apex corners, and quite a bit of an elevation change with the world famous corkscrew. This is definitely going to catch a few people out, I think. If you're too aggressive and lock up, you're going to go straight into the sand trap, or you're going to go just off here and you're going to absolutely lose it. I've definitely done that a few times already. But yeah, it's going to be quite the round, I think. Hopefully building on top of some of the amazing battles we saw last week at Slovakia Ring. So what we'll do first up is I'll run you through it a 100% paced lap of the quickest lap I've done so far. Still a bit of time in it. This is on race fuel, and I reckon it was maybe a couple of laps in, so starting off with 17 litres. Galaxy Chonk has figured out that's going to be the fuel load you will need for a 20-minute race, possibly a little bit less for the third race with a pit stop. So let's hop into the car. Let's get it close to the final corner. All right, so let's just run through it at full speed to begin with, and then we'll break it down with some lines I recommend you take throughout the track. All right, here we go. So taking note that we've got your braking point markers, 3, 2, 1 on the last corner. Gearing I'm using for this setup is the 225 top speed, I believe. So a bit of a double apex approach here. Looking to get probably maximum rotation midway through the corner. Another thing to note is a lot of your optimal apex hit points are in the middle of each of these little sausage curbs for each corner, or just after it. So keep that in mind when you're doing some practice laps. So flat chat here. Good old corkscrew. Gonna have some fun. Guaranteed. And remember to look out for the pumpkin. That's a critical, not breaking point, but I guess focal point that you need to be looking up and have your car aligned with. So this lap here, what did I manage to do? I think it was a mid 122. So just under a mid 122. All right, let's bring it back to the start of that lap. And let's hop on out of the car. So let's fly this drone over here to the final corner. Actually get rid of sidekick. That doesn't give us all the info we need. Get rid of sidekick, and let's bring up the CMRT gearbox app. Move these here like that. Goes into position. Okay. So where am I? I'm coming down from the corkscrew, I think, at the moment. Let's play that. Here we come. So second to last corner. Not super important before your hot lap. It's all about the the line and the speed you get out of the last corner. So we'll run through it, then we'll rewind it and slow it down. So wide entry line, get close to, but don't hit the sausage curb. These things will ruin your night, that's for sure. They are super aggressive and these cars don't handle them too well. So you want to get as close as possible, but don't touch them because they will launch you. We might even see some rolls. Haven't done it yet, but I'm sure it's a possibility. Let's rewind that and put it back into slow-mo. Okay, so it's second gear found to be the optimal gear for the last turn. First gear is just a little bit too low. You're going to be shifting straight up to second. Unless you need a little bit more rotation, I guess you can flick it down into first, then straight back up to second, mid to slightly later apex on the corner. So let's slow this down. Now braking marker as well. Where are we braking here? Okay, so you can see the traces here. So I'm pretty much 100% throttle at the mid apex of second to last corner, moving my way across to the outside to get the widest line possible for the last turn, up to fifth, hitting the brakes at about, what is it, 2? Yeah, about 2.5, 2.25. Trail braking, not the smoothest, but it's I'm slowly getting down there, down into second. Starting to turn in before the curbing finishes there. Getting as close as possible. Probably go another tyres width. And then on the gas. And then here you want to keep those two inside tyres on the track. You can center it on that exit curbing as well. You don't really lose too much traction when you get a few tyres on the Astro, but if you can keep those two tyres on the curbing, you should be right. Let's just draw that line there. Move up. Let's move up here so we can see what line to take into the last corner. Oop, oop. Where did we go? Where did the car go? Here we go. All right, so starting to turn in about here. Turning in there. Hitting that apex at pretty much the midpoint of the corner, where the middle of that sausage curb. And then getting the power down soon after that. And trying to straighten it up, keeping that traction, get a good round down pit straight. Let's just speed that up. We're pretty much following that line there. Should give you quite a good exit. And if you look at the braking and throttle traces here, I could probably be braking a little bit later and then fully getting off the brake a little bit later as well, and then more promptly getting on the accelerator. You'll see here it's just, we've got no brake input, no acceleration. So so I'm off the brakes completely there and off the throttle, so there is time to be gained there. You really want to be straight on the throttle soon as you're off the brakes. And that's just mastering your trail braking. Okay, let's head on down to turn one. This is going to be a fun one. Tricky, but very rewarding when you nail it. Okay. We'll clear that racing line. Okay, so turn one, coming in hot. We are shifting all the way up into the final gear, 6th gear. Braking, we are commencing at the whoop, whoop, whoop. Where are we? We're going too far. Speed this up a bit. Okay, so we're hitting the brakes pretty hard at the 3rd braking point. Right here. So not quite 100%, but then trail braking as we go down. Into 2nd, 1st is probably just a little bit too slow. 2nd seems to work quite well. But down into 2nd, following that racing line. That's a good guide, getting us close to the sausage curbs as possible. So let's draw that line out there. Alrighty, so braking hard at 3 and then trail braking all the way down to the 1st apex where the sausage curb is. So you could probably brake at about 2.5 and be a bit more aggressive with the braking. They're getting close but not too close there. I'm staying off the curbing for this lap. 0 brakes there. And then just modulating the throttle a little bit around this section. Staying on that rubbered up line. Little bit more throttle here. A little bit of modulation. Getting that car rotated to just the right point where we can get on 100% power. Getting really close to the sausage curb here. So we've got maximum track for a quick exit. And then 100% throttle right there. That's 100% right there, baby. And then just using all of the track. A little bit of that exit curb. Once again, completely off the brake. 0 brake. Not much throttle in this section. Then starting to modulate the throttle a little bit, keep the speed up. Just finding that 2nd apex. About half here, probably 60%. As soon as I've eyed off my exit, I can see the line and I know I can handle the power. Getting onto 100% throttle. And then we're out of there. Alright, next corner. This one here, I think it's a case of just a little bit of braking, shift down, and then slightly higher revving 3rd, I reckon it is. Alright, let's go forward. Alright, let's do that full speed. Yeah, so down to 3rd from 4th. Find that apex where the sausage curb is and then out of there. So let's slow that down now. So 100% throttle. Braking there. I'm only half on the power by the looks of it. We are completely off the brakes at this point. turning in of a little bit of throttle. I'm looking to nail the apex right there. As soon as I've found it and I know I've got a good line out of there and put the power down, I'm pretty much 100% throttle there as well. So if you've got the right line on the throttle, this is 0% brake. This is your start of braking here. But have a bit of a play around. I reckon we can brake at about the 1.5. If I'm more aggressive on the brakes, I was only about, 50%. You look at the red trace for the brake. Start to brake there, only at about 50-60%. So definitely can hit the brakes a little bit later. If you hit them a little bit later, a little bit more aggressive, you're going to get, depending on your bias, I'm running a 62 bias here, you'll get a bit more rotation on the rears, especially with these cars. So they're so light and agile. So once again, following this line, let's draw that out. Okay. Following the line, let's say it's going to go to the inside. Nice and tight there. Hold the power. Use that curbing. You want to stay on that curbing as well, all the way through to the next corner. On that up, hey. So follow that line there. Use the curbing. Keep those revs up. Keep that momentum going. Set you up for the next corner. All right, next corner, here we come. This one's here is a up to 4th, down to 3rd corner again. Get a bird's eye view of this. All right, so 100% throttle. Let's speed up the slow-mo. So hitting the braking. Whoop. Braking there. So hitting the brakes there. Following this line, getting so close to that sausage curb. Don't hit that one especially. It'll put you straight into the sand trap. So rerun that. So it's pretty much a little bit of brakes. Watch that trace. So shift down. Oh, no brakes. No, so it's just a shift down on that one. My mistake. Apologies. So shift down or a lift. What are we looking at here? So pretty much getting very close to the rev limit. No, so it's just a lift. Rotate the car. Hit that apex mid sausage curb. Full throttle again. And then you get the run out. All right, next corner. This one here, we are definitely braking. Okay, so mark these points. All right, so braking here at the number 2 braking point. That's got the line. A bit off there. Happens we don't have a stylus. Let's try redo that. Redo that line for you guys. So braking at the number 2 braking point. Down into third. Try to get as close as possible to the end of that sausage curb, not the middle. Then get on the power. Use that exit curbing. So, yeah, I was only a little bit of brake in there. 100% power about 2/3 of the way of the corner, and then control a little bit of oversteer that you're most likely going to get. You're getting close to the corkscrew. It's the second to last, or after this corner, it's the corkscrew. So this one here is just a lift in fifth. You want to start to steer just before the crest. So you're going to be steering in blind. After a few laps, you'll get a feel of when you need to start turning in. If you turn when you can see the apex, it's going to be too late and you're going to run off. So what we actually might do for this one is we'll hop in the car so you can see what I mean. So 100% throttle. Start to steer in now. Lift off the throttle. Try to get as close to that sausage curb as possible because the track dips down just a little bit more there, so it will assist the car in steering. It's like a bit of a slight banking, so you can get on the power early. So we're steering in just before the tip of the crest, aiming to get the tyres as close to that sausage curb as possible, and then 100% throttle just after the sausage curb. So modulate a little bit, yeah, get a feel for the car, get the traction, use as much of that runoff as possible. Don't go over the bitumen because then it gets super slippery. All right, the corkscrew. I'm drawing on board through here first. So when you're coming up into sixths, use this bitumen here as well. So you want to center the car over the curbing here. You want to start braking at about 1.5, which is near the crest, top of this crest here. And don't brake too hard because if you do, you're definitely going to lock up. So as you can see, I'm about 50% braking power here. But just after 2, just before the crest, braking slightly, feeling and listening for the front wheels losing grip, down into second gear. You want to hug this, use all the curbing, get that rotation. Then the key on this corner is right here. So you remember when I said look for the pumpkin? This is what you want to aim for. Because if you aim for that, pumpkin that's hanging on the tree, you're going to get a perfect line through to the next corner. And you want to use a little bit of the bitumen on the inside. So once again, center the car across this curbing. Don't get on the power too soon because there's such an elevation change and it's not a very flat surface. It's going to unsettle the car and you're going to spin. Unless you've got reflexes like a cat. So aim for the pumpkin. Let's fly on over there just so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Aim for this good looking guy. Really look like much of a pumpkin. But that's what you're aiming for. But you want to make sure you're aiming for it when you're really hugging this corner and you're straightening it up like you see there. If you straighten it up, we're going to go pretty much perfectly into the next corner. Let's get back in the car. You can't see it, and that's the thing. That's why and I'm pretty sure this is there in real life as well. This is why they put it there, because you can't see apex in the next corner until it's too late. And then start to preemptively steer. 100% throttle as soon as it dips down and bogs down. So then you get that traction. Don't do it any sooner before you start to get those G's pushing it into the ground. Then we're going to go through naturally. Now what we'll do a line, a bird's eye view of that corner as well, the corkscrew. Let's head on back there. Let's see what it looks like from above. Get the car back there. A little bit more. All right, so. Right, yeah, coming through now. Okay, so. So braking at about 1.5, 2, depending on how keen you are. So braking in this zone, centering the car across the curb, slowing down to second, getting right on that curb, aiming for the pumpkin. And then we want to get onto power a little bit halfway through the corner, just a little bit of power to try to settle the car. So about 50% throttle halfway between the two corners. And then soon as it dips around here, 100%. So 100% here, about 50% here. And then you just want to hang on to it, counter steer a little bit so you can keep that power, keep the momentum up. Okay, nearly there, guys. Nearly completed a lap. All right, so next few corners. This one here is depending on what error you're running. For this particular setup, I ran a 0-2 error. If you're running a little bit more Galaxy Chunks, said he could hold it flat. So I like the 0-2 setup still with this and a 1-0 anti-roll. So bring it back. Okay, so not using too much of the exit here. So middle out of the corkscrew, bring it across to the right, getting close to the curbing but not on it. ,100% throttle, lift off the throttle there, back on as soon as you've got your line and hitting that apex, 100% throttle there. Then use a bit of the exit curbing here. Don't be afraid to use a little bit of that. Don't go on the grass, gets a bit slippery. And then you want to move all the way over to the left as much as possible up here. Move on up. Second to last corner. Okay, so wide line to the second to last corner. Keep that momentum up. Okay, so we are 100% throttle. Off the throttle, a little bit of braking, downshift. Looking for the apex, middle of the sausage on this corner. Using all the track, use that exit curbing up to 5th. Okay, last corner. Brake earlier than you think you need to. Here's some of my best advice for this corner. It's a bit deceiving. So, where's me? Yeah, all right. So, up to 5th. We're going to brake hard at about 2.5, I think it is. Yeah, so start to get on the brakes there. Full power, trail braking deep down to 2nd. whitish line, get that rotation right in there. Slow it down, stay in second, don't go to first. Want to get as close to the sausage as possible there. And then get on the power about 50%. Let's bring that back for... Okay, let's... Okay. Here we come. So, hitting the brakes, downshifting into second. We are getting on the throttle a little bit at the apex, middle of that sausage curb. And then we are on 100% throttle as soon as we start to line it up. So about there, 100% throttle. So that's 50% throttle. Braking as late as possible. Braking as late as possible, because once again, you want to be braking as deep and as long as possible until you get the car rotated so you can get on as much throttle as possible. So really work on left foot braking, right foot accelerator, and you're quick at it, not too much overlap. Now you'll probably see from my traces, I've got a little bit of overlap, so I need to work on that. But the closer you can get that change of input, the quicker you'll be getting out of that corner. So 50% throttle at the apex or just after it, and then try get on 100% throttle once you've straightened up the car and you know you can hold it, it's not going to step out. AstroTurf isn't that slippery on the last corner. And then it's just shifting on the limit to the start finish. So hopefully that's helped you guys out with those lines. I'm sure we're going to see some other guys come up with some different approaches to some of these corners. But replay that as much as you want. Hopefully it's going to help you out and you're going to be able to shave a tenth, 2/10, a whole second to get you being as competitive as possible. Alrighty guys, take it easy. Have a good weekend and a good week, and I'll see you Friday night for the Laguna Seca round. Enjoy.